Angie Dickinson was one of Hollywood's most glamorous and talented leading ladies, known for her unforgettable performances in films like Rio Bravo, Pay It Forward, and Dressed to Kill. But for fans and film historians alike, her personal life has always held just as much fascination as her on-screen roles, especially her connection with Robert Redford, one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men. Their story is whispered about in Hollywood circles, but rarely spoken about publicly. Rumors, speculation, and half-told anecdotes have surrounded Dickinson and Redford for years, leaving fans curious about the truth behind the headlines. Yet Angie has remained remarkably private, letting the speculation grow without confirmation or denial. Now, at 93 years old, Angie Dickinson has finally broken her silence. In a rare and candid conversation, she opens up about her experiences with Robert Redford, her impressions of him as a colleague, the dynamics between them on set, and the personal impact of working alongside a man whose reputation in Hollywood has often overshadowed others. This revelation is more than just celebrity gossip. It offers a glimpse into the Hollywood of decades past, a time of glittering premieres, intense competition, and private complexities behind the cameras. Angie's words shed light on her perspective, her memories, and the nuanced truth of what it was like to navigate fame, respect, and personal boundaries in an era that was very different from today. Angie Dickinson's journey to Hollywood stardom began far from the glamour of the silver screen. Born in 1931 in Culm, North Dakota, and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Dickinson's early life was a blend of small-town simplicity and Midwestern determination. She was a bright, ambitious young woman, fascinated by the arts and eager to explore the world beyond her hometown. Her beauty, combined with natural charisma and intelligence, set her apart even in her formative years. In her early 20s, Dickinson moved to Los Angeles, chasing dreams that seemed larger than life. Hollywood in the 1950s was a world of glittering premieres, strict studio contracts, and rigid social expectations. For a newcomer, it was as intimidating as it was alluring. Dickinson, however, had the tenacity to navigate it. She began with small television roles, appearing in series such as Four-Star Playhouse and Racket Squad. These early performances helped her gain experience, confidence, and visibility in an industry that could be both thrilling and unforgiving. Her breakout role came in the mid-1950s with the film Gun the Man Down, where her performance caught the attention of both audiences and critics. Yet it wasn't just her talent that made her a star. It was her ability to combine vulnerability and strength, making her characters feel real and relatable. By the 1960s, Dickinson had established herself as one of Hollywood's most promising leading ladies, a woman capable of commanding both the screen and the attention of fans worldwide. It was during this ascent that Angie first crossed paths with Robert Redford. At the time, Redford was building his own reputation as an up-and-coming actor, charming audiences with his boyish good looks and undeniable talent. Their first encounter was professional, a meeting of two rising stars on the cusp of fame. Dickinson has often described Redford as polite, focused, and deeply committed to his craft, traits that would later define his enduring career. While their initial interactions were brief, the impression left on Dickinson was lasting. In interviews, she reflects on Redford as someone who balanced charm with seriousness, an actor capable of both playfulness and intensity. Their dynamic on set was respectful, but it also came with the subtle tensions of two ambitious professionals navigating Hollywood's competitive landscape. For Dickinson, this period was formative, not only in her understanding of fame and collaboration, but also in recognizing the complexities of working alongside someone whose trajectory mirrored her own. Beyond the professional sphere, Dickinson was learning to manage life as a woman in a male-dominated industry. Studios expected leading ladies to be glamorous, compliant, and accessible, yet Dickinson maintained a sense of autonomy and self-respect. She forged her path with poise, taking roles that challenged her and working with directors and co-stars who could match her intensity. It was a delicate balancing act. Success required both talent and savvy, but Dickinson navigated it with a combination of courage and grace. that would define her career. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, Angie Dickinson was firmly established as one of Hollywood's elite stars. Her on-screen presence was magnetic, her performances layered and memorable, and her off-screen reputation that of a professional who valued both her craft and her personal boundaries. Within this environment, her interactions with Robert Redford remained professional yet notable, a connection between two individuals who respected each other's abilities and shared the unique pressures of rising fame. This foundation, her early life, career struggles, and first encounters with Redford would shape the way Dickinson approached both her work and personal relationships in Hollywood. It set the stage for the stories she would later tell, decades after the cameras stopped rolling, revealing a perspective grounded in experience, wisdom, and a clear-eyed understanding of fame's complexities. As Angie Dickinson's career flourished in the 1960s and 1970s, she found herself working alongside some of Hollywood's most promising actors, including Robert Redford. By this time, Redford was transitioning from a rising talent to a recognized star, his charisma and skill beginning to command attention across film and television. Dickinson's reflections on their interactions provide a rare glimpse into the dynamic between two of Hollywood's most admired performers during a time when the industry was both glamorous and fiercely competitive. Their first significant collaboration came during a period when Redford was beginning to receive high-profile film offers, and Dickinson was already an established name with decades of experience. On set, Dickinson recalls Redford as intensely focused, often reviewing scripts meticulously and discussing character motivations with directors. She admired his dedication, noting that while many young actors relied solely on charm, Redford paired it with a professionalism that was unusual for his age and stage in the industry. Yet, Dickinson has emphasized that their relationship remained strictly professional. In interviews, she describes Redford as respectful and considerate, aware of boundaries and attentive to co-stars' comfort on set. The camaraderie between them was genuine but measured, a blend of mutual respect and a shared understanding of the pressures that came with high-profile productions. Dickinson often had to navigate similar professional dynamics with other actors, but Redford stood out for his ability to balance ambition with humility. Working with Redford also revealed the subtler aspects of Hollywood life. Long shooting schedules, unpredictable working conditions, and the constant scrutiny of the media created tension that many stars struggled to handle. Dickinson observed that Redford, despite his growing fame, remained approachable and grounded, maintaining focus on his craft rather than the headlines. For her, this professionalism was both impressive and, at times, surprising, given the intense competition and egos that often characterized Hollywood sets. Beyond their work on screen, Dickinson recalls moments of quiet mentorship and advice exchanged behind the cameras. While not a formal teacher-student relationship, these interactions allowed Dickinson to witness Redford's thoughtfulness and perspective on the industry. She describes conversations where he would discuss script choices, career decisions, and the importance of balancing public image with personal integrity. These insights left a lasting impression on Dickinson, shaping the way she navigated her own career in the years that followed. Despite the respect and admiration she felt for Redford, Dickinson has been clear that their connection never crossed professional lines. Hollywood, she notes, is rife with rumors and speculation, but her accounts stress clarity and honesty. Their story was not one of romance or scandal, but of two dedicated actors striving for excellence in their craft while negotiating the complexities of fame. Their experiences together also highlight the challenges faced by women in the industry. Dickinson, as a leading lady, often had to assert her voice and ensure she was treated as an equal partner on set. Working with Redford, she felt she encountered an ally rather than a competitor, someone who valued collaboration and respected her contributions. In an era when female actors often faced condescension or typecasting, this professional rapport stood out as exceptional. By the end of their collaborations, Dickinson's admiration for Redford had only deepened. He had not only demonstrated remarkable talent, but also a commitment to integrity, professionalism, and respect for colleagues, qualities that left an indelible mark on her perspective of Hollywood and the industry's inner workings. These experiences would later form the foundation for her reflections decades later, when she finally chose to speak openly about Robert Redford and their time working together. While Angie Dickinson's collaborations with Robert Redford were defined by professionalism and mutual respect, her time in Hollywood was not without personal challenges. Behind the glittering premieres and glowing reviews, Dickinson navigated a world that often demanded sacrifices from its leading ladies, sacrifices that impacted both her personal life and career choices. By the late 1960s and into the 1970s, Dickinson had become a household name, her performances commanding attention and admiration. Yet with fame came the constant scrutiny of the press, the pressures of studio contracts, and the public's expectations of what a star should be. She had to carefully balance her career ambitions with the realities of being a woman in an industry dominated by men, where appearances and perceived charm often weighed as heavily as talent. Her professional interactions with Redford provided a sense of stability and respect amidst these pressures. On set, he treated her as a true colleague, allowing her input on scenes and honoring her experience. Dickinson has often reflected that, at a time when many male co-stars saw leading ladies merely as props or love interests, Redford's approach felt refreshingly equitable. Yet even with this professional harmony, Dickinson faced heartbreaks and struggles outside the studio. Romantically and personally, Hollywood presented challenges. Dickinson's private life was a series of highs and lows, from early relationships to marriage and family, all magnified under public scrutiny. Her commitment to maintaining privacy often clashed with the relentless curiosity of the press, leaving her to navigate the fine line between being accessible to fans and protecting her personal space. Redford, she notes, was acutely aware of these pressures himself, which added a layer of empathy to their interactions. Dickinson has also spoken candidly about the emotional toll of balancing motherhood with her career. Juggling filming schedules, travel, and public appearances while raising children was exhausting. The era offered limited support for working mothers in Hollywood, meaning Dickinson often had to make difficult choices, sometimes stepping back from roles she desired or adjusting her professional plans to prioritize family. Her experiences mirrored those of many female stars, yet her resilience allowed her to maintain both her career and her values. Meanwhile, the media often speculated about her relationship with Redford, with rumors of romance circulating in tabloids and fan magazines. Dickinson has repeatedly emphasized that these stories were exaggerated or misrepresented, insisting that their connection was rooted in professional respect and camaraderie rather than romantic entanglement. For her, clarifying this truth decades later is not about rewriting history. It is about reclaiming her own narrative and offering insight that was never publicly shared at the time. These experiences also shaped Dickinson's perspective on Hollywood itself. She learned to discern which collaborations would be meaningful, which co-stars could be trusted, and how to navigate an industry that prized spectacle over substance. Her time working with Redford stands out as a highlight, not because it was glamorous or scandalous, but because it exemplified what professional respect and mutual admiration could look like in an industry often marked by competition and ego. By the time Dickinson began reflecting on her career later in life, she recognized that fame had come at a cost. She had achieved remarkable professional success, worked with some of Hollywood's finest actors, and created iconic performances, yet she also endured emotional strain, relentless public attention, and personal sacrifices. Her reflections on Redford and their collaborations offer a window into that complex experience, revealing the careful balance between career, personal integrity, and self-preservation that defined her journey. Decades after her rise to fame, Angie Dickinson now reflects on her career and her experiences in Hollywood with a clarity that only time can provide. At 93, she has chosen to speak openly about her interactions with Robert Redford, offering insights that reveal both the professional respect they shared and the personal wisdom she has gained over a lifetime in the spotlight. For Dickinson, revisiting her time with Redford is not about sensationalism or gossip. Instead, It is about telling the story accurately and preserving the integrity of her own experience. She recalls Redford as a consummate professional, someone who valued craft over ego and collaboration over competition. While Hollywood often fostered rivalry, Dickinson found in Redford a co-star who treated her as an equal, a rare quality in an industry that frequently marginalized female actors. This mutual respect, she explains, made their work together smooth, rewarding, and creatively fulfilling. Beyond professional admiration, Dickinson reflects on the lessons she learned from her time in Hollywood and from working alongside Redford. She emphasizes the importance of setting boundaries, maintaining personal integrity, and prioritizing one's own values in a world that often pressures individuals to conform. These lessons were hard-won, forged through long days on set, scrutiny from the media, and the inevitable challenges of balancing career with family and personal life. Her reflections now serve as guidance not only for aspiring actors, but for anyone navigating a world where public perception can overshadow personal truth. Dickinson also addresses the rumors that surrounded her relationship with Redford. She is candid in dispelling myths, explaining that their connection was strictly professional. For years, speculation suggested more than what existed, but Dickinson's account provides clarity. Their bond was one of respect, mentorship, and shared dedication to craft. Speaking about it decades later allows her to reclaim her narrative, emphasizing honesty over scandal, and offering fans an authentic perspective on a relationship that has long intrigued Hollywood observers. Her reflections extend to the broader impact of her career. Dickinson recognizes that her legacy is defined not just by the films she made or the accolades she earned, but by the grace, resilience, and intelligence with which she navigated her life and profession. She acknowledges that Hollywood has changed dramatically over the decades, and she feels fortunate to have been part of an era that shaped modern film while teaching lessons about perseverance and integrity. Finally, Dickinson's words convey a sense of closure and peace. Speaking about Redford is not about revisiting the past for nostalgia's sake, but about providing truth, preserving history, and honoring the experiences that shaped her life. At 93, she continues to value privacy and reflection, yet she recognizes the significance of sharing her perspective, not for fame or attention, but to shed light on the human side of Hollywood's golden years. In the end, Angie Dickinson's story and her candid reflections on Robert Redford remind us that behind every legendary career are moments of quiet insight, professional respect, and personal choice. Her voice, finally heard, offers an honest and compelling portrait of a woman who navigated fame with intelligence, grace, and unwavering authenticity. It is a story of Hollywood, of friendships and collaborations, and of a star who lived her life on her own terms, proving that sometimes the most powerful statements are those spoken at just the right moment.